Listen, I need you to understand something right now. 3 major forecast models are all showing the same terrifying pattern developing this weekend. We're not just talking about cold weather. We're talking about Minneapolis hitting negative 43 degrees, which is literally colder than the surface of Mars. And that Arctic blast is racing south toward Houston, Dallas, and Atlanta. Cities where most people don't even own a proper winter coat. But here's what changed in the last 6 hours that has every meteorologist I know scrambling to update their forecasts. The models just shifted this coastal storm 50 miles farther west, which means cities that thought they were safe are now directly in the danger zone. We're tracking a potential bomb cyclone forming off the Carolinas with pressure dropping to 965 millibars. And if you know what that means, you know this is serious. Drop your city in the comments right now, and I'll give you the most accurate forecast I can for your specific area as this rapidly evolves. Everything I'm about to show you is based on model runs from just 2 hours ago. And honestly, this forecast is changing every single time we get new data. Right now, at this very moment, nearly 500,000 people are sitting in the dark without power from this weekend's catastrophic ice storm. No electricity, no heat, and the coldest air of the entire winter is about to slam into these areas, creating a genuinely life-threatening emergency. Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee are bearing the worst of these power outages. And for many families, restoration is still days away. Now picture this scenario. You're already freezing in your powerless home, and the temperature outside is about to drop another 20 to 30 degrees. This isn't about canceled flights or inconvenient commutes anymore. This is straight up survival for some of the hardest hit communities. That upper level low that just devastated the country with snow and ice is now positioned over the Great Lakes, getting ready for round 2. Thursday night into Friday morning, this system drops into Wisconsin and Michigan, dragging Arctic air that literally originated over the North Pole. By Friday and Saturday, that same air mass reaches all the way to the Gulf Coast, bringing temperatures that will shatter records across the entire Deep South. Here's what makes this absolutely insane. We're tracking the real possibility of measurable snowfall as far south as the Florida Panhandle. When was the last time you heard a meteorologist say that sentence and actually mean it? Over the next 7 days, we're looking at some of the coldest temperatures the eastern United States has experienced in recent memory. Right now, today, widespread areas are running 20 to 25 degrees below normal. And this extreme cold zone covers almost everything east of the Rockies. Wednesday and Thursday will bring brief relief for the central and southern plains, but don't be fooled into thinking this pattern is breaking. The Ohio Valley and Northeast stay locked in well below normal temperatures, and then Friday hits like a freight train with no brakes. Friday and Saturday mark the arrival of truly record-breaking cold across most of the United States, with many areas plunging 30 to 40 degrees below average. Even Florida, and I'm talking about Miami, will experience extreme cold, with temperatures running 35 degrees below their seasonal norms. Think about what that means for a state where the average winter low is 60 degrees and people genuinely don't own winter coats. Now let me show you what happened overnight that completely flipped this forecast and why the next model run could change everything again. At midnight, the European model had this coastal storm tracking well offshore, which would have meant minimal impacts for most of the East Coast. But the 6 a.m. model run shifted that track dramatically westward, bringing heavy snow and ice into play for tens of millions of people. This is the kind of last-minute change that can mean the difference between a dusting of snow and 2 feet of accumulation in your driveway. The GFS model is now showing something even more aggressive, a rapidly intensifying low-pressure system that could become a textbook bomb cyclone. We're talking about central pressure dropping from 1,005 millibars to 971 millibars in less than 24 hours, which meets the technical definition of explosive intensification. When these coastal storms undergo bombogenesis, they can produce blizzard conditions with wind gusts exceeding 70 miles per hour and snowfall rates of 3 to 4 inches per hour. Let me break down what's happening across the country right now, and I'm going to give you city-specific forecasts because that's what actually matters. Starting with the upper Midwest, where conditions are already brutal. Minneapolis and St. Paul just hit negative 43 degrees, colder than Mars. Milwaukee and Madison are experiencing negative 15 to 0, with wind chills approaching negative 40, where frostbite occurs in less than 10 minutes. Chicago, you're at negative 10 to 5 degrees with wind chills hitting negative 30. And this multi-day deep freeze shows no signs of letting up. Detroit, Cleveland, and Buffalo are locked into similar brutal conditions with actual air temperatures well below zero and wind chills in the negative 30s. Columbus, Ohio is facing negative 5 to 10 degrees with more than 12 inches of snow still on the ground from the weekend storm. Indianapolis and Fort Wayne are experiencing negative 10 to 5 degrees, creating genuinely dangerous conditions for anyone spending extended time outdoors. Pittsburgh has temperatures from 0 to 15 degrees, with snow accumulation reaching up to 20 inches in some areas, and roads remain treacherous. Omaha and Des Moines are sitting at negative 10 to 5 degrees, with wind chills making it feel even colder across the Great Plains. Now here's where this gets truly remarkable. That Arctic air is diving all the way to the deep south, where infrastructure simply isn't built for these conditions. Dallas and Fort Worth are looking at 15 to 35 degrees, but you had 70-degree weather just 5 days ago. That's a 55-degree temperature swing. Your homes aren't insulated for this, your pipes aren't protected, and your power grid wasn't designed to handle this kind of sustained cold. Houston faces 20 to 40 degrees with lingering ice from the weekend storm, still causing widespread power outages across the metro area. San Antonio and Austin are in similar situations with temperatures in the 25 to 45 degree range, but most homes have minimal insulation. New Orleans is looking at 30 to 50 degrees with lingering ice creating continued hazards, and this is brutally cold for the Gulf Coast. Memphis and Nashville are dealing with 20 to 40 degree temperatures along with significant ice and snow still covering roads from the weekend. The combination of ongoing power outages and this prolonged cold spell is creating increasingly desperate conditions for thousands of residents. Oklahoma City is experiencing 10 to 30 degrees with more than 12 inches of snow still on the ground, and another round of winter weather is possible. Tulsa and Wichita are in similar situations with lingering snow and temperatures running well below what's normal even for late January. Little Rock faces 15 to 35 degrees with a combination of snow and ice from the weekend storm, making travel extremely hazardous. Kansas City sits right on the edge between heavy snow to the north and ice to the south, with temperatures ranging from 0 to 20 degrees. Denver and Colorado Springs are experiencing 0 to 20 degree temperatures with lingering snow, and the cold air continues pouring over the Rockies. Albuquerque saw up to 31 inches of snow from the previous storm and is dealing with temperatures in the 20 to 40 degree range as cleanup continues. St. Louis has temperatures between 0 and 20 degrees, with lingering snow creating hazardous travel conditions throughout the metro area. Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky are experiencing 10 to 30 degrees with ice from the storm making roads slippery and dangerous. Cincinnati is at 5 to 25 degrees with lingering snow, and another system could bring additional accumulation later this week. Now let's talk about the cities facing the trickiest forecast, where a few degrees difference determines if you get rain, ice, or heavy snow. Atlanta, you're directly in the crosshairs of something potentially significant, with temperatures between 25 and 45 degrees and lingering ice from the weekend. That coastal storm we're tracking could bring another round of winter weather your way this weekend, and measurable snow is absolutely on the table. Charlotte and Raleigh. This is where that 50-mile model shift really matters. Temperatures running 20 to 40 degrees. Depending on the exact storm track, you could see anything from light flurries to significant snow accumulation, possibly 6 to 12 inches. The GFS model is showing potentially over a foot of snow around Greenville, North Carolina, if the storm tracks close enough to the coast. The European model shows a very similar setup, and when both major models agree like this, we need to take it seriously. Richmond, Virginia could see higher snow amounts, with current guidance showing 7 to 10 inches possible if this system tracks favorably. Columbia and Charleston, South Carolina, the models are literally all over the place for your areas right now. Some runs show snow, some show ice, some show rain, and it all comes down to whether this coastal low tracks 20 miles east or west. The national blend of models is showing 4 to 6 inches possible in Charlotte, 7 inches in Raleigh, potentially even snow in Savannah, Georgia. Savannah seeing snow would be remarkable, but the models are suggesting it's possible with this setup, even if just an inch or two. Norfolk and Virginia Beach could see an all-time winter storm if this tracks perfectly, with the potential for significant accumulation and blizzard conditions. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia are sitting at 5 to 20 degree temperatures right now, with lingering snow from this weekend storm. The national blend is showing 7 inches possible in D.C., 7 inches in Philadelphia, but the big question is that exact coastal track. New York City has 11 inches of snow still on the ground from this weekend. Temperatures between 5 and 20 degrees, and roads remain dangerously icy. Current models show potentially 7 to 10 inches of additional snow, but this entirely depends on whether the coastal low hugs the shoreline. Newark and the rest of northern New Jersey are in a similar situation, with the storm track being absolutely critical for snowfall totals. Boston is dealing with temperatures between 0 and 15 degrees with light snow possible, but if this bomb cyclone develops as forecast, everything changes. You could be looking at blizzard conditions Sunday into Monday, with heavy snow and winds gusting over 60 miles per hour, creating complete whiteout conditions. The models are showing potentially 9 to 10 inches on top of the 2 feet you already have, with some runs suggesting even higher totals. Providence, Hartford, and the rest of southern New England could see widespread 6 to 10 inches if this storm organizes as currently modeled. Portland, Maine, and interior portions of New England could see significant accumulation as the storm moves up the coast Sunday into Monday. Bangor, northern Maine might see lighter amounts, but still significant impacts from this system, depending on its exact northward track. Now, for those of you in the west and areas not being hammered by this Arctic blast, the contrast is absolutely stunning. Los Angeles is enjoying 50 to 70 degree sunshine, while the eastern two-thirds of the country is locked in a historic deep freeze. Phoenix, San Diego, Las Vegas, and the entire Southwest are experiencing temperatures in the 45 to 70 degree range with gorgeous weather. San Francisco, Sacramento, and the Bay Area are dealing with rain, but temperatures staying comfortable in the 45 to 60 degree range. Seattle and Portland, Oregon are seeing temperatures between 35 and 50 degrees, with typical Pacific Northwest rain, but no connection to the eastern storm. Boise and Salt Lake City are cooler, but nowhere near the extreme conditions being experienced east of the Rockies. Honolulu remains blissfully tropical, with temperatures from 70 to 85 degrees, completely isolated from all this mainland winter chaos. Now here's where things get absolutely wild for Florida. Miami is currently sitting at 60 to 80 degrees, enjoying beautiful weather. But by Monday and Tuesday, you could be flirting with freezing temperatures, which would be absolutely remarkable for South Florida. We're talking about a potential 60-degree temperature drop in less than a week for a city where the average January low is 60 degrees. Forecast models are showing lows possibly reaching 38 degrees in Miami Monday morning, with just North and West Palm Beach potentially hitting 34 degrees. Vero Beach could drop below freezing. Orlando might see 31 degrees. Jacksonville, potentially 28 degrees. Tallahassee, possibly 24 degrees. Tampa and St. Petersburg will see temperatures in the 50 to 70 degree range now, but a dramatic cool down is coming by early next week. Even the Florida Keys could see temperatures in the low 50s, which is genuinely unusual for that far south. Now let's shift focus to what's developing with this potential coastal storm, because this is where forecasting becomes extremely challenging. The Arctic air is playing a crucial role in setting up what meteorologists call a Miller A storm track. This occurs when a low-pressure system develops near the southeast coast and moves parallel along the east coast, tapping into both Arctic air and Gulf moisture. Energy from the polar jet is diving down from the north, while the subtropical jet brings moisture streaming up from the Gulf of Mexico. These two features are forecast to phase together for a closed low-pressure system over the eastern Carolinas Saturday evening. By Sunday, that system is forecast to be just offshore of the mid-Atlantic and northeast coast, the perfect position for heavy snow and blizzard conditions. Looking at the ensemble forecast members, many solutions are showing strong low pressure with an average of 987 millibars off the Outer Banks Saturday evening. Then this system deepens further to 962 millibars as it moves offshore, with some ensemble members showing pressure in the 900s and 50s. When you get a strong, closed, low-pressure system with available cold air and moisture, you absolutely can see a major nor'easter and blizzard develop. Wednesday expects minimal activity, maybe some lake effect snow in the Great Lakes and light snow in the Pacific Northwest. Thursday is when things start getting interesting as Arctic air filters even deeper into the country. Light snow showers become possible across the northern plains, potentially reaching Kansas and Nebraska by Thursday afternoon. By late Thursday into early Friday, we could see light snow developing in parts of Arkansas and Tennessee as the Arctic air continues its southward push. Friday morning could bring rare snow flurries to Mississippi, Alabama, and northern Louisiana, which would be quite unusual for these deep south locations. Friday night and Saturday is when things get wild, with a very intense Arctic high around 1,050 to 1,054 millibars positioned over Canada. Moisture will be circulating in the Gulf of Mexico, and eventually a coastal storm system will develop and begin to rapidly intensify along the East Coast. Saturday is when the low-pressure system makes its appearance near the Carolinas, and this is when the situation could become serious very quickly. The European model shows snow developing Saturday morning across South Carolina, northeast Georgia, and North Carolina. It intensifies over the Outer Banks and Virginia Beach area, then in some runs tracks offshore, while in others it hugs the coast more closely. The GFS model shows a similar general pattern, but with more snow in Virginia and potentially heavier impacts for the Mid-Atlantic region. Areas east of D.C., including Atlantic City, Dover, and southern New Jersey, could get hit by blizzard conditions in this scenario. Saturday evening is when Gulf moisture combines with that Arctic cold front, creating a very localized but potentially devastating zone of heavy snow. By late Saturday night and early Sunday, the forecast models show this low-pressure system rapidly intensifying as it moves up the coast. Pressure dropping from 1,005 millibars to 971 millibars in less than 24 hours would classify this as a bomb cyclone. When coastal storms intensify this rapidly, they can produce incredible amounts of snow in very short periods, sometimes 3 to 4 inches per hour. The concern isn't just about snow totals. If this develops as modeled, we're looking at wind gusts over 100 miles per hour just offshore. For coastal communities from the Carolinas through New England, genuine blizzard conditions become possible, with winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour on land. That combination of heavy snow and powerful winds creates complete whiteout conditions where visibility drops to near zero. Travel becomes not just dangerous, but outright impossible, and we could see widespread power outages from snow-laden trees and high winds. Now, I want to be very clear about the uncertainty here. Coastal storms are notoriously difficult to forecast because small track changes make massive differences. A shift of just 20 to 30 miles in a storm track could mean the difference between 2 feet of snow and nothing at all for some locations. Yesterday at this time, we weren't even discussing this as a major threat. The models were showing it tracking well offshore, but with each new model run, particularly overnight, the confidence has been increasing for a significant East Coast winter storm. What concerns me most isn't even the potential snow totals. It's the timing of this Arctic air in relation to ongoing power outages. Right now, nearly 500,000 people are in homes without electricity, many for 4 days already. Monday morning, temperatures plunge below freezing across the entire affected region. Tuesday morning brings single digits as far south as the Carolinas. For anyone without power, this transforms from an inconvenience into a genuine life-threatening emergency. Homes cool rapidly in single-digit weather, pipes freeze and burst, and vulnerable populations including elderly, children, and those with medical needs face serious risks. This isn't a typical winter storm where schools close for 2 days and everyone's back to normal by Wednesday. This is more like a frozen hurricane with widespread infrastructure damage, extended power outages, and dangerous conditions lasting well after precipitation ends. If you're anywhere in the affected zone from Texas to the Carolinas, you need to prepare now, not tomorrow or Friday. Charge every device you own, fill bathtubs with water for flushing toilets if pressure drops, gather blankets and sleeping bags in one room. Know where your local warming shelters are located. Have addresses and phone numbers written down on paper, not just in your phone. Check on elderly neighbors and family members today. Make sure they have plans and supplies. This is when community really matters. Stock up. If you use heating oil or propane, get your tanks filled today. If you have a fireplace or wood stove, stock up on firewood now. Be extremely careful with portable generators and space heaters. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every winter. Keep generators outside, away from windows. If you must travel this weekend, pack a complete emergency kit with blankets, food, water, flashlight, phone charger, and shovel. Tell someone your route and expected arrival time. If you get stranded in blizzard conditions, people need to know where to look. For those in snow zones rather than ice zones, still prepare for power disruptions and stay off roads during the worst of the storm. Bring pets inside now. Make sure you have food for them. Stores could be closed for multiple days. I'll be monitoring this continuously and providing updates as new model data arrives and the forecast becomes clearer. Drop your city in the comments if you need specific information. I'm reading every comment and answering as many as possible. If this forecast was helpful, subscribe now so you don't miss updates. I'll have another comprehensive breakdown within 12 hours. Details will change. That's the nature of forecasting dynamic systems, but the overall threat isn't going away. Record cold is certain for the eastern two-thirds of the country. The weekend coastal storm adds uncertainty, but potential for major impacts is real. For those still without power from this weekend, time is running out to find safe shelter before the most extreme cold arrives Monday and Tuesday. Whether you're enduring the deep freeze up north, dealing with ice and outages in the south, or preparing for potential blizzard conditions on the coast, stay safe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.